the all 12,000 standing in Viejas Arena just a day or two before classes resume at San Diego State. Dave Rice, a former UNLV player, a graduate second season at the school. Steve, his keys?
Well, you better limit turnovers, especially when you average 15 a game and you're on the road. And they've got to contain Jamal Franklin. This is a guy who leads them in points, rebounds, and assists. He's got the ball in his hands a lot.
Our starting lineup presented by Legal Zoom. And for UNLV, they start Anthony Marshall, spent most of his career as an off-guard. He's now playing the point with a freshman in Reinhardt and this incredibly talented front line featuring Anthony Bennett, one of the nation's premier freshmen. More experience on the San Diego State side. Jamal Franklin, Conference Player of the Year. Chase Tapley, a four-year starter. J.J. O'Brien and Deshaun Stevens, the size. And what Steve Fisher has done in this university extraordinary. Doug, his keys tonight?
Well, you got to hit the boards. That's how San Diego State has dominated the state of California. And you got to slow the roll of UNLV. They want to get out in transition. Coach and I saw them last week against New Mexico. In the half court, it's still very much a work in progress. In transition, they're as good as anybody in the country.
And the ball's up, and we are underway. These teams have played extraordinary matchups in recent times. San Diego State had won 6 in a row until UNLV snapped that streak in their second meeting a year ago. And Jamal Franklin's first shot swept away by Anthony Marshall for UNLV. And in transition, the spot up by Moser is off. Tapley put that ball down off a shoe. It's Reinhardt. His dive flip taken back by Tapley. Perfect delivery to Franklin.
This team is very opportunistic in a lot of ways. They play extremely hard. There they pick up the loose ball and end up getting a nice 2-on-1 break.
And kind of an unlucky play for Caden Reinhardt. He gives it up for his team. He didn't have to, and then he leaves himself with no one to pass to.
Moser off the left flank. Knocks down a three.
What's interesting about this matchup, Coach, is last year Mike Moser was a 4-man, and he had those mismatches because he's kind of a 3-4. Well, the same can be said for Jamal Franklin, who's playing the 3 for the first time this year. So they're actually matching up again, technically as small forwards, but they're really kind of 4 men from last season.
Yeah, neither one, I think, as comfortable at the 3 as they are at the 4. Wow.
A little blow by there by Franklin.
You know, he's a guy, you better be in your stance every second when you're playing against him because he can go off the dribble. He's a decent three-point shooter. Not great, but he'll take them. He made 5 the other day.
Ken Birch. And Moser was there for the follow, but that goes out. We'll come back into San Diego State.
A quick little handoff, and San Diego State's offense, they've gone from a lot of isolations to a lot of handoffs and ball screens, and UNLV has to figure out, how do you want to play it? Do you want to switch because you have so many like-sized athletes? The problem with switching it is, when you switch to Jamal Franklin, he's going to take the bigs to the rack.
San Diego State's lost only twice this year to national teams, Syracuse and Arizona. UNLV's only lost 3. There's Birch, newcomer this year with the shot block, and then Xavier Thames prevents a dunk.
And Birch has really added a tremendous amount to this defense. They're very good at pressuring the ball. When you got a big guy like that who can block shots, it makes a big difference.
Here's what we talked about. March 2011, that was in the Mountain West tournament on UNLV's home floor. DJ Gay with a game winner, and a pair of games that went to the buzzer in the regular season last year. San Diego State did a marvelous thing in establishing this rivalry is look at Marshall, who took only 1 shot the entire game Saturday, throws that one off the glass and won.
You know, you got to give this kid a lot of credit. He leads the Mountain West in assists, and he's not a point guard. I know that sounds crazy. He was an all-league 2-guard last year, makes a nice move going to the basket there, but they don't need his scoring as much as they need him getting them into things.
Competitor, a driver, a tremendous defender, and Ted, you mentioned he only took 1 shot. You know, you're playing against Air Force, and their zone really stymied UNLV. But like it's college basketball this year is about matchups, and this is a matchup of 2 teams that are very athletic. Both are better in transition, and both like to hit the boards.
A three-point play by Marshall. Foul was on Deshaun Stevens of San Diego State. Rice DeJon Jones is in first sub for Dave Rice. And there's a travel. Anthony Marshall reached in the spike.
They probably should have taken the 8-footer right there, Doug, instead of just trying to force the issue. But they helped, extra help on Franklin. That's why Stevens was so open.
The first switch of the game for UNLV. They take Mike Moser off the floor. And there's Bennett. Introducing himself to the Aztecs.
Technical foul.
Quick one.
That was
a quick one.
That was monstrous.
Well, a beautiful cut as Anthony Bennett read that they were cheating the screen. Yeah, he's woofing just like last week. Alex Kirk got the exact same technical foul for saying something last week when we did the game in New Mexico.
So the technical foul against Bennett counts as a personal foul. Franklin at the line.
I'm with you, Doug. I'm not really feeling. I mean, all right. What do you do? Oh, he said one word.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one thing if you get in a guy's face and stuff like that, but I don't know about that one.
Well, we know no one will be wolfing the rest of the game.
Yeah, I guess that's what they were looking for.
And look, John Higgins.
He's a good ref.
He's a very well-known ref.
Yes.
There are times in which I think he makes the call to let everybody know I'm here. We'll see if he keeps everything under control.
This is a veteran crew.
Well, you got silent all of a sudden, Bob, right?
No, I didn't like that call. I can tell you that right now. There's no reason for that, in my opinion.
Ball knocked away, goes out of bounds. Is Bennett trying to set a tone for his team in a moment like that?
Well, I think that's when kids dunk on somebody, that's what they do. You know what I mean? That's just part of it. It really is part of the game. I mean, he didn't really. I don't think what he did was that bad. Doug, you played. Come on, that's like nothing. That goes on every second.
Really, that was less than last week, and last week was marginal.
Nice drive by Reinhardt, and then the delivery to Birch. Good start by UNLV.
Not great help on defense that time. The penetration, the help came. Nobody came to help the helper.
O'Brien, nice drive. And the up and under.
J.J. O'Brien, of course, he played in the perimeter when he was at Utah before he transferred back. But because he's matched up with Anthony Bennett, that's a nice little mismatch. Whereas he can play on the perimeter, and Bennett really looked lost on the perimeter defending.
Well, you know what Bennett should do, Doug? Get down the low post with O'Brien on him.
And Reinhardt's open shot ripped down by Franklin. Well, Franklin tried to do it at both ends. Franklin is extraordinary this year, averaging 10 rebounds a game, but there's Marshall setting up Bennett.
That was such a good pass, and Anthony Bennett running the floor hard, getting behind the San Diego State defense. That is great transition.
Now Bennett has had 2 rocking slams in these first 5 minutes. There's an offensive rebound, and Deshaun Stevens will go to the line when we come back.
Jamal Franklin misses a shot and then takes a step in the wrong direction. And when your guard takes a step in the wrong direction, the back end is open. And the Rebels up 5.
We didn't always watch football at Buffalo Wild Wings.
It's so great to see you guys outside the office.
So you brew your own beer?
Yeah, for you, bratwurst beer, and this one's a secret. Drink up. This one's ready in 2 minutes.
Protect the football. Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports.
I was learned in Djibouti, Africa, 2004.
The Battle of Bataan, 1942.
Fort Benning, Georgia, in 1999.
USAA auto insurance is often handed down from generation to generation because it offers a superior level of protection and because USAA's commitment to serve the military, veterans, and their families is without equal. Begin your legacy. Get an auto insurance quote. USAA. we know what it means to serve.
Want to know what I did in the last 5 hours? I played a round of golf. And then I read a book while teaching myself how to play guitar. Ran 10 miles while knitting myself a sweater. Jumped out of a plane. Finally, I became a ping pong master while recording my debut album. How, you ask? With 5-hour energy. I get hours of energy now, no crash later. Wait to see the next 5 hours.
A very important early season Mountain West Conference battle between UNLV and San Diego State. And that will be the headline after these headlines from the weekend. Wyoming got back with a win at Nevada over the weekend despite having Luke Martinez suspended. And Wyoming is just out of the top 30 RPI. New Mexico will get Kendall Williams back tonight for their game, but they beat Fresno State without him over the weekend. And today's most important story, official announcement from San Diego State that they will stay in the Mountain West.
Well, thank God, because that's where they should be. Them going to the Big East to play football would have been crazy, in my opinion. The Big East falls apart. They're much better off, and their basketball program was always much better off here than they would have been in the Big West.
A major coup for the Mountain West. I mean, you have, and it hurts the Big West. There were thoughts that they could be to the Big West what UNLV used to be to the Big West back when the Big West was the PCAA. And they used to play against the Cal State Fords and Long Beach States. But the Mountain West is better than the Pac-12. It's got as good or better arenas. It's got better fans. And right now it has better players and better teams. Why not keep this thing rolling?
I think we saw Steve Fisher there for a second. I think the decision today is a reward for what he has done. One of the most extraordinary jobs in the country in creating a program here where there was none.
No tradition whatsoever before he got here. Zero.
And what he has built, never been nationally ranked, NCAA tournaments, etc. in recent years, will be rewarded by being able to stay and play at a level they should play. Dejon Jones.
Well, we know that Dejon Jones loves that right short corner. Some people call it the 6-hole as a post-up spot, especially against smaller guards.
Nice move right. So Tapley with a huge overtime performance for San Diego State here on Saturday against Colorado State.
This UNLV team, to me, looks like they're really dialed in defensively tonight to stay in their stance, which is what you have to do against San Diego State. A lot of drivers, you got to stay down in your stance.
That's a tough one by Dejon Jones.
He had Reinhardt in the right corner, missed him.
That's Dejon Jones' problem.
And Tapley came back, tried to switch to the left hand for the shot. UNLV has numbers. And Reinhardt to Marshall.
And there's the maturation of Caden Reinhardt. A shot not early in the year. We've seen the drop-off for a dunk. We've seen him go on one-on-one for a shot, and he didn't pout despite the fact he was open in the last possession. He creates a shot for Anthony Marshall, and the Rebs are now up 8.
Marshall, who didn't have a basket Saturday, 5 points early here, and Tapley answers with a 3.
He's a tremendous three-point shooter, not even shooting as good as he did last year, and he makes tough threes with people in his face. That was good defense.
A bad shot. It wasn't a great shot.
No.
A great result.
It just went in.
Burks trying to post inside, no entry. Now comes out to screen for Marshall. Franklin takes the high screen himself, and Franklin goes all the way.
It looked to me like there were a lot of black shirts in there that could have helped, and nobody stepped in.
Now backcourt foul. Winston Shepard in the game for San Diego State. Freshman gets called for that bump. Now don't forget this Sunday on CBS Sports Network, live from Winston-Salem, the PBR Built for Tough Series, the Winston-Salem Invitational. You'll see it live Sunday at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, right here on the CBS Sports Network. Fouls right now, 2 on each team. Justin Hawkins, one of the experienced Rebels, a senior, on the floor off the bench. And they're on the roll. A blocking foul called as Bennett rolling to the hoop, and Franklin picks it up.
A nice set from UNLV. And what they want is on the roll, on the backside of this roll is Bryce Dejean-Jones. And actually is a bad pass from Anthony Marshall. His big man is not open. The defense is collapsing. Bryce Dejean-Jones open for what's called a backside drift jump shot, but instead Marshall kind of forces it. The inexperience of being a point guard coming off a ball screen.
Yeah, I agree with you totally, Doug. He should have seen the help in there. That really could have been a charge very easily on Anthony Bennett.
We're just almost 7.5 minutes in here. Diaz, great inbounds play, and Moser back in the game, scores for UNLV in this first meeting of the year between two teams that have been at the top, along with New Mexico, of this conference in recent years.
Well, this is the UNLV's most experienced lineup. Moser, Hawkins.
Well, there's the explosive step by Shepard. He didn't put it down. He'll get to the line on Moser's foul.
This is where Mike Moser has to learn. There's 26 NBA scouts here. And Mike Moser is somebody who comes out last year, probably a late first-round draft pick, but he's never really defended on the perimeter. He gets faked out, and boy, Bryce Dejean-Jones not leaving James Rahan at all. I understand you respect Rahan as a shooter. He's made 29 of his last 63s, but you got to give your guy a little bit of help.
At least see Rahan make a shot before you decide you're not going to help at all.
Well, Steve Fisher has his own freshman who came in with a rep here in Winston Shepard. Out of Houston, he's averaging just under 20 minutes a game.
Of course, finished at Finley Prep, which has just been a wellspring for so many different talented players in college basketball. Henderson, Nevada, just outside of Las Vegas.
Daquan Cook in the game off the UNLV bench. So Marshall played 43 out of 45 minutes in their win over Air Force Saturday. And Shepard. The second time he's gotten to the basket. And
he's talented.
Yep. They're just not able to finish the play. Meanwhile, Dejean-Jones turns it.
This guy handles like a guard.
And Franklin for three.
You know, he's a hard guy to figure out. He's a 29% three-point shooter, but he seems to make them every time he takes them. I know that sounds stupid.
So 10 of the 18 for San Diego State scored by Franklin. Here's the Aztecs run. A big turnover there when you make it costly. 3 points at the other end. Now Bennett will get to the line on the foul against Stevens of San Diego State. That'll be his second.
Well, you got to always look out when it comes to Jamal Franklin, because he is everywhere. Great pass and a kick and three.
February 1st.
Detective Taylor Kwan.
I want the guys who took your daughter.
Dad?
When it comes to revenge, he hasn't lost his edge.
What are we, Vikings?
Bullet to the head. Rated R.
Never share again. Taco Bell's new loaded grillers. Appetizer taste of spicy wings, tasty skins, and beefy nachos. Each just 99 cents and wrapped up just for you.
Buckle up for the PBR Built Ford Tough Series. Sunday at 8, only on CBS Sports Network.
Help kick off the Pepsi Super Bowl 47 halftime show. Submit your picture, and millions of people could see you welcome Beyonce in the world's first crowdsourced halftime intro. Upload your photo at Pepsi.com.
One of the most enduring memories of 75 years of March Madness, the 1989 championship game. Glenn Rice.
Where's the foul? Where is the foul? Are you kidding me?
Sound like PJ there.
You know, there was an article.
Neil Robinson, bang!
There was an article in the New York paper yesterday about PJ because he took over and they're doing so well with the Brooklyn Nets, and he was asked about that. And he said, you know what, John Clocker, he's a great ref.
All right, well, this season, celebrating 75 years of March Madness in partnership with the NABC, each of the 35 schools that have won the championship will have an original painting with the emphasis on the winning coach. January 24th, next week, UNLV's 1990 championship will be featured. Coach Tarkanian on the painting unveiled next week. And there'll be an auction. You can visit ncaa.com/art for more information. All proceeds portions will benefit the NABC Foundation. And of course, Steve Fisher, you saw that famous shot with the coffee cup. He has a painting for his 1989 Michigan title. And in the building tonight, one of his closest and longest running friends, Bill Frieder, tells me he taught Fisher everything. That's another story.
Not a Michigan man, though. Is he a Michigan man? He left to take Arizona State. They handed Fisher the job, and of course, Fisher, a longtime high school coach, rode with him. You're looking at the NCAA freshman scoring leaders, and Shabazz Muhammad. I got a chance to see him Saturday on CBS against the Oregon Ducks. But Anthony Bennett, coach, what a marvelous talent. I love the last move he made. A face-up pump fake, take it to the rack. Need to see more out of that as he continues to develop a read and react more than just overpower, over-skill people.
And that's a great point because he can do though. He's got the skill. He can put it on the ground. He's a good passer. He's got a big upside.
San Diego State's brought James Rahan in for the first time, along with Skylar Spencer to play down low there against Bennett. Spencer affects that turnaround, but the loose ball caroms to Moser.
You know, Skylar Spencer, that was very good defense. He's a shot block. He leads San Diego State in block shots as a freshman. That time Bennett should have given the shot fake up and gone by him.
Thames using his left.
This is great experience for Daquan Cook. Didn't play against Air Force, saw him in limited minutes against New Mexico.
And knocks down the three. Thames let him take it.
He just turned 18 years old, and he begged Dave Rice to take him off of redshirt because he knows this team needs a point guard even in limited instances.
Shepard stepped right inside the arc.
There's my issue with Anthony Bennett. They switched. He didn't even put his hand up. You got to at least, I can put my hand up, like right now, Doug, I'm putting my hand up. Just put your hand up and contest the shot.
Rahan got his hand in on Deshaun Jones' attempt. And Shepard.
This kid can go.
No, he can
go.
Evan Burns, who they had for just one year, originally was going to UCLA. Evan Burns and Shepard, the two highest rated players ever to come here to San Diego State. Shepard's a special talent. Eventually, he'll be a perimeter player as he continues to develop his jump shot. But like so many players in college, Kawhi Leonard was this way, where you play the 4 or you play the 5 as a ball handler and you can rebound at the defensive end. Now you have a mismatch. And with Mike Moser, even though Moser's playing the 3 and sometimes the 4, he really hasn't defended on the perimeter all that often throughout his entire career.
Well, two players on the court tonight that were teammates at Finley Prep. Doug was talking about it just outside of Las Vegas.
Pretty good team.
Tristan Thompson went there. Corey Joseph went down. We could go through. It's a remarkable program that is, that not even a decade old.
The kid in Oregon went there too. I think the point guard.
Dominic Artis. Yeah. Dominic Artis, who we'll see Saturday. And then Dave Rice's brother is the head coach at Bishop Gorman that produced Shabazz Muhammad, which is in Las Vegas, which is the powerhouse within not just Sin City, but the entire Silver State.
Two-point UNLV lead. The Rebels came out, played the first 4 minutes well, and held that slight edge. They're giving Cook some serious minutes here. Nice stretch in relief of Marshall, but inside, UNLV scoring a lot of points in the paint.
Great job on Birch, diving to the basket on the pass to Bennett, and Bennett made a heck of a catch.
And UNLV scores inside. The Aztecs counter outside.
How talented is Shepard? I mean, he sees that he's got Caden Reinhardt on him. Can't guard him. Love him. Backs him down, sees the double, finds the shooter on the weak side. That's good ball.
And he's big. Well, you'll see this pass by Bennett in the low post. And the great thing is the cut by Birch. And Bennett does a good job of looking opposite. Watch Birch dive on the double team. His man leaves, he dives, and the help comes over late. That's why they were able to score that. Nice job by UNLV.
And then Tapley over the long, long arms of Kem Birch. But that was all set up by Shepard, backing down Caden Reinhardt. Shepard now switching to the small forward or the 3 position, and just a really tough cover for Caden Reinhardt. Caden Reinhardt is defensively challenged to begin with. He's not a good defender. He has to learn how to defend at this level. But then you factor in, now he's at a 3 or 4 inch height advantage, a length disadvantage, and a length disadvantage as well. This will be interesting for Caden Reinhardt. I mean, Caden Reinhardt played at a great high school. We talk about great high school programs. Modern day, won 2 state championships. He was a big shot maker. But you get to the college level, and all of a sudden, now you got to play both ends against bigger, longer competition.
You know, Doug, we had a conversation about that with Dave Rice today, the UNLV coach, about that very challenge when you get a player like Bennett or like Reinhardt that never has been really challenged to play defense. How the coach handles that. A lot of guys are dealing with it. Oh, and Reinhardt on the offensive end.
And he made a heck of a shot there, but Anthony Bennett stepped away from that double team and was able to kick it out.
They cannot contain Shepard. Cannot keep him out of the lane.
I love him. I know I've said it already. This guy's a big-time player. You don't see guys that size, Doug, handle like that and get to wherever he wants to get.
There's a reason that this has become the best basketball program in the state of California. They got players. They got players, and now they're able to line up and recruit a kid like a Shepard. And Anthony Bennett cannot cover him out on the floor. And what I like about him, and this is a little bit like Kyle Anderson, although Kyle Anderson is about a step and a half slower than Winston Shepard, is that when you give him space and dare him to shoot, he doesn't take the bait. He uses that space to gain momentum and still get to the hoop.
Yeah, if you can still get to the hoop with guys saying, hey, go ahead and shoot the ball, you got to be good.
Well, the thing that Shepard has helped create is now the first foul situation of the night. That was the second foul on Bennett. Remember, he got 1 for the technical, and Mike Moser has 2.
Well, listen, he got into foul trouble last week, was dominating the game in the second half against New Mexico, got his 4th personal foul, and they had to depend on Bryce DeJean-Jones to try and bail him out. Couldn't score in the second half.
Right now, Bennett and Moser both out for UNLV. They brought Goodman in off the bench, and Birch going to try to contribute it.
There's a lot of
UNLV's making San Diego State pay at the basket. A lot of points.
There's players on this floor. That was just a great individual move where he rose up over everybody with the left hand.
Birch has scored 6, and it is a contrast right now. San Diego State's doing some good work on the outside and with the driving, as Franklin does.
They switched again. Birch ends up on Franklin. Birch should do a better job because I think he's capable of moving his feet and staying in front of him.
Well, he was late, Coach. He's late. See how he's late getting up to play the flat ball screen, and then he doesn't move well laterally.
That's why, you know, everybody has that they run that full-speed running ball screen, and if you don't run up with the guy setting the screen, you're late, and that's what happens.
Well, you want to make Jamal Franklin shoot a perimeter jump shot, and if you can contest it, fine. You cannot let the Aztecs get to the hoop.
Well, that's creating. San Diego State's using that weapon to create foul trouble. Franklin has 13 already. Now a turn. Tapley. San Diego State has not yet been able to do what they want to do at home, is get on a run.
Great pass. Whoa.
Foul inside. Well, that was almost a good miss. Hawkins missed that by 1.5 feet and went right to Goodman. Now 7:27 left in a first half. Emotions high.
You do a lot of thinking on a bike about your life, family, your dreams. One of my dreams came to me on a bike. It open up my own shop. So what happens when you complete a dream? Well, you just start thinking of the next.
We didn't always watch football at Buffalo Wild Wings.
Wheatgrass for our neighbors.
And moosh moosh.
Sport.
Protect the football. Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports.
At Phillips 66 Gas, we strive to bring you the best in performance gasoline. But now we want to find the Phillips 66 of other things. Like Pee Wee linebacker Holden Hansen. He tackles quarterbacks like we tackle dirty injectors. He dislodges pigskins like we dislodge engine deposits. That's why he's the Phillips 66 of Pee Wee linebackers. For the Phillips 66 of gas, visit your local Phillips 66 station. We've been working for over 80 years to bring you the best in performance gasoline.
All right, in San Diego, let's look at our Sonic stat pack. Those points in the paint have been significant for UNLV.
Well, that's how they play. They have those big guys in there, but it's been a very well-played game. You got two teams that hold people in the 30s field goal percentage, but right now, field goal percentage is pretty good for both teams.
Sorry, I'm lost in the whole Sonic advertisement. I'm thinking about chocolate
dinner.
The chocolate Coke and a Coney.
Well, we'll find out a little bit about Dave Rice as a coach here the rest of this half. Every coach has their own philosophy about this. What do you do when you have big guys with 2 fouls in the first half? Do you sit Bennett and Moser? Do you put them back for little bits?
I would put them back for little bits. I think there's too much time to sit them the entire half. They come back in the second half very cold. I would try and get 3 minutes for each of them for sure in these last 7.
The player in me says, play him, you get 5. The problem is we saw that Bennett doesn't yet know how to play with fouls, and on the road, when you do have good depth, I think if you can survive and hang in this thing without him, you probably play without him until the half.
You think? I mean,
like, I'm never a sit a guy with 2.
Because I would worry about a freshman who doesn't play this long and now coming out in the second half on the road and being able to get right back in the flow. So, you know what I mean? It's one of those ones, it's a tough call.
Yeah, you can hide him covering Spencer. The problem is that San Diego State's attacking with ball screens, and they're going to go right at Bennett, and he'll be a swinging gate.
And they're trying to switch a lot of things so he can end up on anybody. Dijon Jones.
This is an ISO set, Ted, that San Diego State used, UNLV used several times when you watch them on tape, and we saw it against New Mexico.
Yeah, nice extra pass by Spencer on the roll. He sets up and Franklin to the line.
So, Ted, what they do is they start Bryce Dijon Jones at the left side and then clear out the entire right side for him. He likes to go to that right baseline. He's got a nice little bank shot. And there Shepard gets baptized, not understanding that Bryce Dijon Jones, he's going to get shots up in a hurry. He is not scared. He misses one shot. He's coming right back at you.
He's a hunter. He's a hunter. He's hunting shots with the best of them.
Well, one thing San Diego State, their way to counter what they've drawn that foul trouble on UNLV's front line. 3 big men with 2, and the Aztecs are scoring a lot of points at the foul line.
They're switching a lot. They're switching every screen in this game, and they're playing against a team that goes off the dribble as good as anybody. That's why they're getting in foul trouble.
Jamal Franklin with 15 in the first half. UNLV already with 8 fouls. San Diego State only 4.
Well, you know, this San Diego State team has shot a lot more free throws than their opponents have made a lot more free throws than their opponents have attempted.
And what they're running there is, it's called a baseline runner. It's really, frankly, what Indiana used for Steve Alford back in the day. Kind of an interesting coaching adjustment from Dave Rice, where he's using Anthony Marshall as the baseline runner. Traditionally used the shooter as the baseline runner, but he wants his Marshall to catch it and penetrate and kick out for the shooters.
All right, so the first move by Dave Rice, he brings Mike Moser in the game. All 3 starting front line Rebels with 2 fouls. One of them, Moser, in the game.
I like the move, and now what he'll do, he'll take Moser out at some point, but one of the other guys back in that's got 2 fouls.
Well, Shepard, they sloughed off him. He tried to bank it in with a Las Vegas roulette. Spin didn't go his way.
That was a kick.
That's got to be a kick. Well, Shepard got the lane, and let's see if they call that intentional on Marshall.
It could have been. Play? It absolutely. I thought that could have been intentional. When you see a guy go up to another guy and say, hey, sorry about that, that was an intentional foul, because Marshall went up and apologized. That's a kick. No question.
It's a kick, and I think UNLV was a little bit stunned by it, but still, Marshall, you got to be smart. It's a reach foul.
He grabbed his arm, though. I mean, I don't know. I think it's intentional. I think that was intentional. He kept his hand on his arm for a long time. He didn't just slap his arm and get it off. He kept his arm on there for a long time.
You don't want to let him. If you just slap it, he scores the bucket.
I don't know. No, not if you give him a good whack. I don't know about that. Not to hold his arm down. I think that's intentional.
Yeah, his intent was to not allow him to make the layup.
There you go. All right. Well, Shepard and San Diego State started this year with real foul shooting problems. They've gotten better as this year has turned into January. And Shepard's living that in this first half now. He is 8 for 9.
Shooting fouls for a team like this is so important too, because these guys are attackers. That's all they do.
Well, you see the foul imbalance and how that might impact the 6 minutes and change still left in the half.
Well, Ted, they played great defense, San Diego State, and they're one of the least fouling teams in America.
There, Reinhardt creates a little contact.
Now you see Anthony Marshall and Caden Reinhardt. Reinhardt forgot the play and didn't execute it properly, but it was an ISO for Mike Moser. Moser couldn't get open in the post, so Reinhardt's like, all right, I'll take him. And the scouting report on Reinhardt is he likes to go left into that jump shot. Most right-hand jump shooters like to go left, and they played him to go left. He goes right and draws a foul on Tapley.
How could you tell he forgot the play?
Well, because he's standing down there and everybody's pointing at him. Okay. You're the guy. Everybody else looks good. Good hair product, too. Yeah. No matter how much he sweats, that hair doesn't move. That's good product.
I need some of that.
Reinhardt with 5. DeJon Jones getting the assignment now on Jamal Franklin. Thames came up short on his floater. Moser faked the baseline, stepped in to hit it 2.
Great shot fake. The defense was a little late in getting back. They weren't really in their stance, and that's why he got up out of his stance and went up.
Franklin got him with the left. Marshall spinning. Remember, Marshall had a good stretch where he got a breather, but that turnover, and Franklin turns it to 2.
Snowbird or cherry picking? What do they call it in Philadelphia?
Cherry picking.
Snowbird in the Midwest.
He didn't quite get back fast enough, I guess, and he ended up
quite get back.
Bad pass by Marshall, too.
Yeah, of course.
And now Marshall makes up, scores 2.
Marshall is a competitor. Well, his lack of refinement at the point guard spot is due to inexperience, not a great jump shooter, but he is a competitor at both ends of the floor.
They're playing him on his right hand like crazy, Frank.
Boy, Tapley hits a nice turn.
It's a hard shot.
Marshall getting in again, and we're seeing much more offense from Marshall on the UNLV side tonight. Well, don't forget you can relive your football Sundays every Monday right here at CBS Sports Network. NFL Monday quarterback, Messrs. Phil Simms, Rich Gannon, Steve Berline, and Dan Fouts, who last week were perfect. All 4 picked the Packers. They were perfect. Lee wrong.
Yeah.
6:30 Eastern. I had to get that in.
Yes.
Monday nights here on CBS Sports Network. Doug, let me ask you about Marshall. Could he be a hybrid point guard? I mean, he's spent his whole career as an off guard. He's trying to play point this year. Could he incorporate some of the scoring and still be a point guard?
No, yeah. I mean, look, he is what he is. You know, he brings the ball up. He's learning to just hit the open man. When you're not a true point, first rule is first open guy gets it. And don't try and be too creative. He still lacks kind of just the inherent feel. And though he's percentage-wise an improving jump shooter, they're going to lay off him, and he has to pick and choose his poison as to when he scores and when he runs the team.
Feel, the key word there.
You can't
the point guard can't teach it. You got it or you don't.
Stevens inside, flung it up there.
And by the way, San Diego State doesn't exactly have a true point guard either on their team.
Now, the difference would be they have a multitude of ball handlers right now, 1 through 4. I mean, Shepard can be a point.
Thames, obviously, is probably the closest thing they got.
Franklin.
Quintrell Thomas is in, by the way, for UNLV. His first appearance tonight, and he makes it felt. Offensive putback.
And in a league that is made up of transfers that are older and grown men, Quintrell Thomas is the embodiment of that, a transfer from Kansas.
Wow. Tapley with a wide left.
Not a good one.
We're in a timeout zone here in what's been a high-scoring half. Pace up. Matching the intensity in this arena, the intensity of this Mountain West matchup from San Diego State.
Nice.
Great pass, high-low.
Thomas to Dejon Jones, and Steve Fisher stops right there. Timeout.
When you get the ball in the middle of the floor, good things happen. They get the ball to the post area, duck in low, good job.
Kind of a unique set here that UNLV runs. Again, trying to post Bryce Dejon Jones as he sets a ball screen at the top with Hawkins. And then because they're sagging off of Quintrell Thomas, a great read from Anthony Marshall to Thomas, and Thomas hits Bryce Dejon Jones. Bryce Dejon Jones is their second best scorer in the low post, and he likes that right block where he can also step out and face up.
Now these two teams and New Mexico have been slugging it out at the top of the Mountain West the last couple of outstanding basketball seasons, and that's where they were picked preseason. San Diego State last year was supposed to be a little bit of a regroup year, and they still made the tournament. They won the regular season title. New Mexico won the conference tournament title.
Well, Jamal Franklin's been some story. His first year here, he didn't play. Can you imagine the best player in the Mountain West Conference, an All-American? His first year here, he did not play. It's incredible. The guy that good doesn't play at all as a freshman.
And we're noticing tonight, Shepard, who said he's averaging just under 20 minutes a game. He's playing a good stretch of this first half.
A lot tonight.
Off-ball foul on Reinhardt of UNLV. And again, that'll give San Diego State 2 foul shots when we come back. Just under 3 left in a high-tempo first half.
Some of you may have heard about probiotics, but may not realize what they can do for your health. We know what it takes to look good on the outside. But with 70% of our immune system located in our gut, the core of our health is truly on the inside. That's why I take new TruBiotics. It's a daily probiotic that helps in 2 ways. One helps support digestive health, the other, immune health. Stay true to your health. New TruBiotics from the makers of One A Day.
Saturday at 7, only on CBS Sports Network.
When you're a kid, you don't know much about housing markets. You don't know that home ownership builds communities. And you certainly don't know that owning a home contributes to higher self-esteem and better test scores. You just know that home is where you belong. It's where you play, grow, and learn. The National Association of Realtors wants you to know that home ownership matters to our families, our neighborhoods, and our country. Learn more at houselogic.com/homeownership.
The road tests so far in this first half, UNLV has done well. Dominant inside. San Diego State leaning on its best guy to keep them in this.
Well, Jamal Franklin has been really, really good. This guy goes off the dribble. He'll make threes. He plays a very loosey-goosey kind of game. You think he's like in the schoolyard the way he plays. He just does whatever he thinks he needs to do. He's not a great three-point shooter, but he makes them in transition. He's a guy you got to stop off the dribble.
17 points. I mean, the rest of the team are kind of a no-show offensively. And Mike Moser probably playing his best game since he dislocated his elbow against the Cal Bears.
Those are our Scion first half key players. And what the UNLV is just really, I mean, we all know the front line, but they are emphasis in the first half.
No, they're also mauling San Diego State on the boards, which is what San Diego State usually does to others. This is a program, guys, that's been built on players that people missed on, as well as transfers. And James Rayhan, a guy who played at Santa Clara, transferred in. A sniper is a three-point shooter. 29 of his last 60, as of course I jinxed him from the free throw line. But he's become a very good defender, a very solid player.
Wouldn't you say, both Steve and Doug, the transfers are just a way of life now in Division I basketball? It's everywhere.
You know, they're everywhere, but there are certain schools that seem to get all the good ones. You look at New Mexico when they got Gordon. You look at these guys, you know, there are certain schools that transfers want to go to.
And we're glad to have you here on the CBS Sports Network from Viejas Arena in the San Diego State campus. First meeting of the year between these Mountain West heavyweights.
Between UCLA and USC, many have supplied rosters for most of the Mountain West.
These two will play again next month at Thomas and Mack, and they seem to run into each other a lot. A third time in the conference tournament.
This is where he's at his best.
Good spot up by Rayhan. The ball stuck, possession arrow, back to UNLV.
And you look out in the court for San Diego State. J.J. O'Brien, of course, a transfer from Utah. Xavier Thames, a transfer from Washington State. Rayhan, a transfer from Santa Clara. And, Franklin, a guy who went to prep school. They almost gave up on his freshman year, but has bought in and become just an absolute star.
That's a good pass.
Each side set it up. Last two trips down the floor. Open shots not made. Thames missing. Up quickly on tap.
Play.
What a nice
Whoa, what a great tip by Marshall. And Justin Hawkins cashes in.
That was a big-time tip up front to Hawkins for the layup.
How about the adjustment from Dave Rice playing small with his big guys in foul trouble?
Rayhan is really struggling.
This game's a little too quick for him.
And UNLV, and Doug, you point that out, that's perfect. With the big men hampered. Bennett, by the way, has not come back in the game following up your point since he drew a second foul. And UNLV, if they can win this last 65 seconds, they could go up 10.
Yeah, they tried Moser for a little while, but didn't trust Bertrand Bennett.
Marshall had a good turnaround, and Franklin clears it. San Diego State needs a good finish. Trying to get a 2-for-1 there. Thames with a miss.
I think Thames is going nuts. I don't know about you.
Rayhan and Thames coming down just, jacking jump shots. Meanwhile, James Franklin's got 17 points. Hadn't seen the ball last 5 possessions. One possession he did kick out for a jump shot.
Dave Rice, who ran the offense at BYU, ran it in the Jimmer Fredette era. He calls the play here for Anthony Marshall and his team. Marshall tried to whip it down the lane. J.J. O'Brien. And O'Brien finishes.
Marshall makes a great play to tip the ball, then he makes a very bad play there. There was no one open there. That was a bad pass.
So now the Rebels get one last shot here. Thomas setting 2 screens. And Marshall gets contact. And Anthony Marshall will go to the line at 2.3.
Using that pick and roll on top, and that's one of the things that they go to. When they need a shot, they go to the high pick and roll with Anthony Marshall a lot of the time, with him trying to create or forcing some people to help and then kicking it to the open guy.
was fascinated to see that play because we all remember Dave Rice in an unusual setup at BYU when he was an assistant coach. There, he was the offensive guy. He set the offense and keyed in those Jimmer Fredette years. And there he was up. He called the last play.
He was the offensive coordinator on a very good offensive team, by the way.
I mean, more of a football term that Dave Rose allowed Dave Rice to run the offense. Marshall makes one. Lopez Sosa in for the first time off the UNLV bench.
I know it sounds crazy today. I don't like trying to score here. I'd rather just get it in bounds and go at halftime. I'd hate to throw and if San Diego State tries to score, they could throw it away and something crazy could happen down the end. Just get it in bounds and go.
Well, Thames will get a half-court shot. That's something a lot of teams practice at the end of their shoots.
Lawrence Bowers.